Good afternoon to everyone. Myself, I am Surya Narayana, working as an assistant professor in DBSIT Kavali. Today, my presentation on finite element method, similarly known as FEM, which is for third year mechanical engineers. In last class, we've done one problem on truss element. Today in this class, I'm going one more problem. I'm going to discuss one more problem on truss element. We already know that what is truss element, and the loads which are applied in truss element, those are in horizontal or vertical direction, but the loads distribution will be either compression or in tension in truss element. Compared to bar element or the truss element, in bar element the loads are applied only in axial direction only. After that, in the truss element, the loads which are acting in horizontal or in vertical direction in truss element. Today I am going to solve one more problem on truss element. First of all, they given the problem here. It is a truss element. First of all, I am reading the problem. Estimate the displacement vector. Estimate the displacement vector and stresses and reaction forces. They given in the problem. Find out the displacement vectors. Okay. After then, stresses sigma and reaction forces R1, R2, R3, and so on, etc. For the truss structure as shown in figure. Nodal displacement vectors like U1, U2, here U1, U2, and so on. Here it is a truss element or truss structure. They given in the problem. I'm taking this one as a origin point. Why? Because it is a fixed element. It is a fixed element. There is no horizontal movement, and similarly there is no vertical movement in the first element. Like this, it is the origin point having the coordinates 0, 0. This is the first point of first element. We already know that for every element, we already know that there is two nodes. In bar element, like stepped bar or non-uniform channel, for element 1, we have two nodes like 1 and 2, node 1 and node 2. Coming to in truss structures also, here the element is having two nodes simultaneously, but in this the direction of travel in horizontal and in vertical direction. Horizontal will be U1, vertical will be U2. Okay, students, please observe the difference between stepped bar to the truss structure or truss element. In this, it is a fixed channel, fixed support. The element having fixed support, but every element having two nodes. One is traveling in horizontal direction, that is U1. One is in vertical direction, U2, U1 and U2. After then, it is traveled from element 1 to element 2. Element 1 to element 2. In this force, F force, the force vector which is having 250 newtons. That is in opposite direction. The point of direction which will be in the direction of upwards, it is positive. It acts like in downwards, it is negative. After then, from element 2 to element 3, it is traveled from element 2 to element 3. In this, in element 3, it is in element 2, it's having two nodes like U3 in horizontal, U4 in vertical direction. Coming to element 2 from element 3. It is traveled from element 2 to element 3. In this, it is having one roller support and one fixed support. Roller support, it can travel only in horizontal direction only. Okay, there is a movement like in horizontal position only from left to rightwards. But in fixed support, what is, there is no vertical direction movement. There is no vertical direction movement, like U5 is mobile and U6 is fixed here. Okay, in this U1, U2, U1, U2, the nodes like U1, U2 are fixed supports, U3, U4 are free in movement, and U5 is mobile, U6 is fixed support. The length like from, I will explain the coordinate points in the next slide. I'm taking the considerations of length 400 and the height will be 300. Okay, coming to the next slide. Here in the problem, they do not give the area and Young's modulus for the truss structure in the problem. They only given the problem by a truss structure having the length and the supports like mobile or fixed. After then, I'm assuming the area like area equal to 1 millimeter square, and Young's modulus will be capital E. We already know that Young's modulus is denoted by capital E, that equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5 Newton per millimeter square. Okay, here the two values I am assuming. Okay, that two values they don't give in the problem. Okay, they do not give in the problem of the properties like area and Young's modulus. So I'm assuming those values in the problem. After then, the finite element model as shown in figure. In this problem, I was already told you an element. Okay, an element 1 is having two nodes. U1 is in horizontal direction, U2 is in vertical direction. Simultaneously, at element 2, it is having two nodes. Parallelly, U3 is in horizontal, U4 in vertical direction. Next, coming to element 3, U5 is horizontal, U6 is vertical direction. Here, I'm explaining what is the criteria to calculate and taking the coordinate points like that. First of all, at element 1, it is having two nodes. U1 is in horizontal, U2 is in vertical direction. In this, it is a fixed support. Okay, there is no movement in horizontal direction and simultaneously there is no movement in vertical direction also. After then, I'm taking, there is a origin point. Origin having the coordinate points 0, 0. After then, from element 1 to 2, element 1 to element 2, it is traveling from point 1 to point 2, having the length 400 millimeters. Okay. After the node 2, it is traveling from element 1 to element 2, having the length 400 mm. It is traveled in horizontal direction. So it is traveled in horizontal direction, traveling in horizontal direction. I'm taking the consideration of length here 400 mm. 400 mm in horizontal direction, the length will be 400. Here at element 1, the coordinate points are 0, 0. After then, it is traveling from element 1 to element 2, having the length 400 mm. There is no vertical movement here at the node, sorry, at element 2. Okay, there is only in horizontal movement 400, 0. After then, it is traveled from 400 mm length in horizontal direction, 300 mm in vertical direction. At element 3, the coordinate points are 400, 300. Okay. At element 1, 0, 0. After then, It traveled from no element 1 to element 2 having the length 400 mm. There is no vertical movement. So I'm taking 400 comma 0. After then it is traveled from started from 1 at having the length 400, and after then it takes diversion and having the distance of height will be 300. So the at element 3 the coordinate points are 400 length, 300 height, 400 comma 300 at element 3. After the problem, the nodal displacements d that equal to, in these three elements are present, so every element is having two nodes u1 u2 u3 u4 u5 u6 transpose. This is a transformation matrix, so I'm making it as transpose. The nodal coordinates data is given. The nodes like 1 2 3, three elements having 6 nodes at node 1. At node 1 the coordinate points are 0 comma 0. Sorry, it is not node, it is element. At element 1, the coordinate points in x direction, y direction. X direction, there is no x direction and there is no y direction movement. So 0 comma 0, it is a origin point. At element 2, 400 in x direction, 0 in y direction. At element 3, 400 in horizontal direction, 300 in vertical direction, 400, 300. It is a discretization process. Okay, we already know that the steps for solving the finite element equation, it is applicable for all elements like beam element, frame element, truss element, bar element. Okay, the procedure is similar for all elements, and the stiffness matrix, which is K, is variable from element to element. The element connectivity table after discretization step step 1 is completed. After step 1, we have to draw the element connectivity table based on the structure or element. In this, three elements are present 1, 2, 3, having the nodes. For every element, there is two nodes. For element 1, the nodes are u1, u2, 1 and 2. Element 2, the nodes are 2 and 3. Okay, which is connected for element 1, 1 and 2. In this way, I'm making the element connectivity table for element 1, which is connected from 1 to 2. After then, the element 2, it is the element 2, it connects element 2 and element 3. After then, element 3, which connects from 1 to 3. Okay, observe the difference for element 1. For element 1, which it connects 1 and 2. After then, element 2, it connects 2 and 3. Then the third element which connects 1 and 3. It is the element connectivity table. After then, the direction of cosine table is given. Cosine table is nothing but we have to calculate the values of L and M. Okay, we already know that L and M. Length will be, for element 1, the length will be 400. For element 1, the length will be 400. Element 2, 300. After that, for element 3, having the length 400 and plus 100, 500. In this case, I'm calculating the values. Okay, in this case, L and M, those are similar with C and S. Okay, in this problem, both are similar. For instead of L, you have to take the C. It is also correct. Instead of M, you have to take S. It is also incorrect. Sorry, it is also a correct proportion. Instead of LM, you can take the C and S values, L and M. For example, the direction cosine of element 1 are obtained as, for L, we already know that for calculating the L and M values, the formula is x2 minus x1 by L1. For M, y2 minus y1 by L1. In that case, we already know the lengths for particular elements. In these three elements are present, 400, 300, 500. These are the lengths for particular elements of a structure. In this, we already named the coordinate points like 0, 0, x1, y1, 400, 0, x2, y2, 400, 300, x3, y3. Based on the coordinate points, I'm taking the values x2 minus x1. In this, x1, y1, 0, 0, x2, y2, 400 minus 0 divided by the total length will be 400. 400 minus 0 by 400, you get the value of 1. After then, for M, that equal to y2 minus y1 by total length of L1. In this, y2 minus y1, x1, y1, x2, y2. y2 is 0 minus 0 divided by the total length will be 400. 0 minus 0 divided by 400. You will get the value of 0. In this, I'm calculated the values of L and M. L is 1 and M is 0. After then, the third step will be calculation of element stiffness matrix or derivation of element stiffness matrix based on the given structure. We already know that for bar element, K will be, the stiffness matrix will be AE by L, 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1. But it is a truss structure. It is a truss structure. In this, the element stiffness matrix is varies from, in this I am changing 1 minus 1 minus 1, 1 like L square LM. Instead of LM, you can also take the values of CS. Okay, AE by L. A is the area, E is the Young's modulus, L is the length. L square LM. Recently, we calculated the values of LM based on the question table. L square LM minus L square minus LM, LM M square minus LM minus M square, minus L square minus LM, L square LM minus LM minus M square, LM M square. It is the element stiffness matrix for truss element or truss structure. Using the above formula, the element stiffness matrix for element 1, 2 and 3 is given as, for element 1, I'm taking the Young's modulus will be 2 into 10 to the power of 5 and area will be 1. Okay. In this problem, they doesn't give any values of area and Young's modulus. So I'm assuming the values like area will be 1 millimeter square and Young's modulus is 2 into 10 to the power of 5. After the length will be 400. 400. Then L square LM. Okay, coming to L. L square is 1 square is 1. After then LM 1 into 0. You will get 0. L square LM minus L square minus LM. Minus 1 square minus 1. LM 0. Based on that, you have to calculate the all the values based on L and M values. It is the stiffness matrix for element 1. Similarly, for element 2, here I am changing the length for element 2. L2 is 300 mm. And next L square LM, based on that, we are calculating the values. In this, for L equal to x2 minus x1 by L1. In this, the length will be, for element 2, the length will be 300. So based on that, I am calculating the values of L and M. The coordinate points are x2 by 2 divided by L2, x3 by 3 divided by L3. Sorry, L2. x2 minus x1 by L1, x3 minus x2 divided by L2. The length will be, for element 2, the length will be 300. L is 0 and M is 1. Based on LM values, I am calculating the element stiffness matrix for element 2. After then, parallelly, for element 3, K3 that equal to area into Young's modulus divided by length of element 3. Length is 500. L will be 0.8, M will be 0.6. Based on that, I am calculating the remaining values of L and M for element 3. After calculating the element stiffness matrix, the fourth step is the calculation of and summing of element stiffness matrix. It is also called as global stiffness matrix making process. Global, okay, formation of global stiffness matrix. That is, we already know that K equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3. We already know that the values of element stiffness matrix for element 1, element 2 and element 3. In this, I am adding all the stiffness matrix with K. K equal to K1 plus K2 plus K3. First of all, I am writing the values of element stiffness matrix for element 1 plus element 2 plus element 3. After that, you will get the global stiffness matrix K equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5. In this, I am getting 6 by 6 matrix. Okay. In the above, for identification, I am writing the nodes 1, 2 up to 6. In right side also 1, 2 and up to 6. It is a global stiffness matrix K equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5 and the values of nodes from 1 to 6. After calculation of global stiffness matrix, K is calculated. In the problem, they given find out the value of displacement vector. For this, I am taking the nodal displacements are from U1 to U8 transpose. It is a transformation matrix. I am taking transpose here. The nodal force vector is given by. For understanding force vector, for every element there is two nodes. For element 1, there is no horizontal and there is no vertical movement. So for that, the coordinate points are origin will be 0, 0 and no forces will be acting on element 1. So at node 1 and node 2, there is no forces acting at element 1, 0 and 0. U1, U2 are zeros. At U3, in horizontal direction, one force is acting in newtons, 433.0127 newtons. So I am taking the value of U3 in horizontal 433.0127. After then 250 Newton which is acting at downwards in U4 at node 4, 250 Newtons which is acting in downwards minus 250. Why I am taking negative? Because the direction is actually in upwards, 250 Newton in upwards, but it is acting like in downwards. So I am taking it as negative minus 250. After then at U5 and U6, at U5 it is acting in horizontal direction, but it acts in negative direction. Okay, the direction will be, it is in right side, but it acts like in left side direction. So I'm taking it as minus 2000. And at U6 there is no force acting on element 3. So it is 0 transpose. F equal to U1, U2 zeros, U3 433.0127, U4 minus 250, U5 minus 2000, U6 is 0. The structural stiffness matrix K given above needs to be modified to account for the boundary conditions. Applying boundary conditions here. Why I am taking U1 equal to U2 and U6. Okay, U1, U2, U6 are zeros. We already know that for taking the boundary conditions is taken by which nodes are fixed nodes. Okay, which nodes are fixed, there is no movement. So those nodes are taken into considerations of boundary conditions. At node 1, there is no movement in horizontal direction and vertical direction. So U1, U2 are fixed by the support, fixed support U1, U2. So U1 equal to U2, and after U3, U4 are movable. There is movement in horizontal and vertical direction in at an element 2. Coming to at element 3, there is only in horizontal movement only. But coming to vertical direction, in horizontal direction, roller support is applied, but in vertical direction it is fixed. So U6 is fixed. Based on that, I am taking the boundary conditions U1, U2 that equal to U6 that equal to zeros. The reduced finite element equation as so. By taking the boundary conditions U1, U2, U6, U1, U2 and U6. By taking elimination approach, U1, U2 and U6 columns and simultaneously rows are cancelled. By taking the elimination approach as considerations, the remaining values are 2 into 10 to the power of 5, 0.0025, 0.0003330, 0.00128, U3, U4, U5. Why? Because all the remaining values of U1, U2, U6 are cancelled. The remaining values are calculated by taking the values in equation mode. You will get the values of U3 will be 0.8660 millimeters. U4 is minus 0.37878 millimeters. U5 is minus 7.8125 mm. Those are the values of U displacement vectors. Then the nodal displacement vector D that equal to, up to now we have calculated the values of U1, U2, U3, U4, U5 values. U1, U2, U6 are cancelled. The remaining values will be U3, U4, U5 and values. By taking the values into consideration, I am calculating the displacement vector. In the problem, they given find out the values of nodal displacement vector. For that, I am taking D displacement vector that equal to U1, U2 up to U6 transpose. After then, I have calculated the values of U3, U4, U5, U6 is 0. Then he given in the problem and also find out the stresses for particular elements like element 1 and element 2, element 3. We already know that for a truss element, the formula for find out the stress for truss element sigma equal to E by L minus C minus S CS. In that place, you have to use, you have also you have to use LM is also correct. C is cosine, C is cos, S is sine. Sigma that equal to E by L1 minus C minus S CS U. Sigma 1 for element 1, the Young's modulus will be 2 into 10 to the power of 5. The length will be 400. CS. Instead of CS, you have to calculate. You have to take the values of LM. -1 0 1 0. In that, the stress for truss element 1 sigma equal to E by L minus L minus M Lm U. We already know the values of Young's modulus for element 1, 2 into 10 to the power of 5. The length for element 1 is 400 minus C minus S CS U. For U, that equal to U1 to U4. That equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5. The length will be 400 into U3. That equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5 by 400 into U4. That equal to 0.8660. Then sigma 1 will be 433 Newton per millimeter square. Parallelly, for element 2, E by L minus C minus S CS. Okay, the stresses will be found out based on nodal displacements, unknown nodal displacements, starting from U1 to U8. U1 to U8. For element 1, the stresses will be from U1 to U4. For element 2, the stresses will be taking as unknown nodal displacement starting from U3 to U6. E by L, the length for element 2 is 300. Here I am calculating the values of U4 and U5. Why? Because here U6 has taken as boundary condition. Sigma 2 equal to 252.52 Newton per millimeter square. And then sigma 3, stress for third element, E by L, length for third element will be 500. And C minus S CS, it connects in element connectivity table also. We already saw that it connects from origin point to element 3, element 1 to element 3. The element which connects from element 1 to element 3. So for that reason, I am taking the values of unknown nodal displacement U1 to U6, U1, U2 for element 1, U1, U2 for element 3, U5, U6. Parallelly in sigma 2 for stress of element 2, it connects like U3, U4 in second element, U5, U6 in third element. Okay, I'm calculating the stresses for sigma 1, sigma 2, sigma 3 based on element connectivity table. After calculating, you will get the value of minus 2500 Newton per millimeter square. It is the stress for third element. After then, I'm writing the values of sigma 1 that equal to 433 Newton per millimeter square. For element 2, sigma 2 that equal to 252.52. For element 3, 2500 Newton per millimeter square. To determine the reaction forces along degrees of freedom 1 to 6, which correspond to the supports, substitute D into the original finite element equation, R equal to KD minus F. In the substitutions, only those rows of K corresponding on to the support degrees of freedom are required. F equal to 0, those degrees of freedom. Thus, he says that in that problem, the nodes which are like for element 1, there is a fixed support, U1, U2 are fixed, Coming to element 3, in horizontal direction, U5 is movable, U6 is also fixed. There is no vertical direction at element 3. 1 to 6 are fixed. Based on the boundary condition, we have to calculate the reaction forces for the structure. So for that, I am taking R1, R2, R3. Okay, R1, R2, R3, that equal to, these are the values we obtained in global stiffness matrix, R1, R2, R3. In that point, I'm calculating the reaction forces only for based on the boundary conditions. U1, U2, and U6 are the U6 that equal to 0, that is the boundary condition. Based on that boundary condition, I'm calculating the reaction forces. R1 that equal to minus 0.025 U3 plus 0 into U4. Okay. Then minus 0.00128 into U5 into 2 into 10 to the power of 5. You will get the value of 1567 Newton. It is for U1. U1, U2 are fixed. For that reason, I'm not calculating U1, U2. Only I'm taking the reaction forces which are acting on element 1. At element 2, sorry, at node 2, R2 that equal to 2 into 10 to the power of 5 minus 0.0096. The remaining is minus 0.00096 into U5. The reaction will be 1500 Newton. For R6, 2 into 10 to the power of 5 minus 0.003 into U4 plus 0.00096 into U5. So in this also, I'm not taking U1, U2 values and U6 value. Only I'm taking the consideration of U3, U4, U5 values for calculating and obtaining the reaction forces for the nodes U1, U2 and U6. R6 will be minus 1250.0052 Newton. Okay. This is the procedure for calculating the displacement vectors and obtaining the values of stresses and making the reaction forces for the truss structure. Next class, we will discuss what is beam element, and we are doing one more problem on beam element. After that, frame elements. Thank you, students. Thanks to everyone. If you like this video, please subscribe to DBS Talks YouTube channel. Okay, thank you once again.